Hello, everyone. My name is Mary, and today I have a story time for you. Uh, this story is about value and what we value. And the reason I'm telling this story is because I was thinking about it recently, and I think that there might be some message in it. And I hope that it helps you as well, because thinking about this story really helped me. So the story is about something that happened several years ago to me. About 6 or 7 years ago, maybe 7 or 8, I was getting some life coaching sessions for free from a friend of mine who was starting up his coaching business and sort of taking his coaching in a different direction. And he gave me some free sessions, and they were so beautiful and wonderful, and I was so grateful to get that, and especially to get them for free, because at the time I had a lot of financial issues and lack mentality, and financial issues are still something I'm dealing with, believe it or not. But at the time I definitely had that going on. And at the time I would keep $100 bill in my wallet, as sort of like inspiration for these financial issues that I was having. So every time I opened my wallet to buy something, I would see that 100 and I would be like, "Oh, I'm well cared for. I have enough. Abundance comes to me easily. This sight of this 100 would, the plan was that this 100 would just inspire these feelings every time I opened my wallet, and sort of help me shift my mindset from a lack mindset to something that is more abundant oriented. And so I had this 100 in my wallet, and I was getting these wonderful free sessions, several sessions from this friend of mine. And every time I left his studio, I always felt so uplifted, and my vibration was higher, and my heart was more open, and it just his guidance was really quite beautiful and quite lovely. And so every time I left his office, I was feeling really great. Well, one time when I was leaving his office, as I got in my car and I'm driving down the street, make a turn, and I see this homeless man pushing a shopping cart up the road. And this man looked severely, like he was going through a really, the roughest of rough times. You know how sometimes you see a person standing on the side of the road with the cardboard sign that says, homeless or whatever, and you give that person money. Well, this is a guy, he looked way worse than those guys do on the corner. This guy, he was stick thin. It looked like he hadn't had a good meal in forever. His skin was like very, sallow and sickly almost. He had no life to his skin. It looked like he was missing teeth. He looked like he hadn't had any sort of health and wellness attention in a very long time. He also looked like he had everything he owned with him. He was wearing several layers of clothing, and they were all kind of shabby and ripped. And he had a shopping cart, which he had several bags in. And the top bags, it was heaped full of bags full of bottles and cans. And I don't know whether this is true in your state or where you are, but where in my state, in New York State, you can turn in bottles and cans to your local grocery store for like 5 cents a piece. And so he was collecting cans and bottles to get some money. And he's pushing his shopping cart, which obviously contained everything he owned in it, up the street. And I was feeling very good. And so my heart was moved by this man. And so I immediately turned around, came back, pulled over, and I pulled that 100 out of my wallet, because I realized in that moment that what I had intended for this 100 to do for me, to show me that I have enough, wasn't doing that. It was actually a symbol of miserliness. It was a symbol of, I'm not spending this, I'm going to keep it, and energy like money needs to have a flow to it. I realized that I was more like the Four of Pentacles in the tarot. The Four of Pentacles is a guy who's holding on to his physical resources. He's not spending it. He's not giving it away. He's keeping it all very close to him. He wants to be, he wants to keep it close. It's the miser card. It can be interpreted many different ways, but I realized that for me in that moment, I was the Four of Pentacles in the miserly way. And so I'm like, I was inspired. I was inspired by this session I had just had with my coach. My heart was moved by the sight of this poor man. And I pulled over, I got that 100 out of my wallet, and I'm like, I'm giving it to him. I'm just giving it to him. This was an energy flow that felt right for me. And right before I got out of my car, I noticed in the cup on the door, that little cup on the door of your car that you might keep change in, you might keep keys in or whatever. I have earrings in mine right now. Well, at the time, I don't know why I've got earrings in my car like that. But at the time, I had a crystal in that cup, a little quartz crystal about yay big, the kind that you can get from the crystal store for like $2 or $3, very inexpensive. It was given to me for free I got a tarot reading from a lovely woman, and she gave out quartz crystals with every reading, and so I thought that was really so sweet, and I put it in my car as a reminder, a happy reminder. And quartz crystals are pink and they're just very uplifting. And so at the last minute, I got this 100 in my hand. I grabbed the quartz crystal to give him as well. So I've got these two things to give to him. I run across the street where he's pushing his cart, and I say to him, I have a gift for you. And I give him the 100 and I give him the crystal. And he has them in his hands. Now, if I had been given this, even now, if someone came up to me and said, I have a gift for you, and gave me $100 bill and gave me a little quartz crystal or any sort of pocket crystal, I'd be happy to get the crystals. Certainly. I love crystals. I have a whole bowl full of them right here on my desk. There's a quartz crystal right over there in my living room. I love crystals. I keep them around me. So I'd be happy to get the crystal, but my reaction, the bigger reaction would be for the 100, like I would be like, wow, $100 bill. This is so generous. What are you doing? That's so nice. Oh my gosh. So I would be grateful for both of them. But in the mindset where I am, I probably would react to the 100 more than the crystal. So I give him these two things, and he sees that he has them in his hands, and he immediately hones in on the crystal. He holds it up, and he goes, wow, that's beautiful. Oh, wow. And he was like, huge reaction. He was bowled over. He was like a kid on Christmas. He was like eyes the biggest saucers. It was obvious this is the most authentic reaction of joy and wonderment that he had had in a while, maybe. I don't know. Or maybe he has that kind of reaction every day. All I know is he was having the most joyful reaction to that crystal. He honed right in on that. That was what he was grateful for. And it blew me away. It blew me right away, because I had not expected that. Where my head is, where this like lack mentality, I don't have enough, I need more money kind of mentality, that's where my head was. I was not expecting, because you can buy a whole box of crystals for $100. You could buy a rose quartz the size of a bowling ball for $100. The value that I was placing on these two things was monetary only. But the value that he saw was not monetary. It was in the moment. And it made me realize, he's probably never gotten a crystal as a gift from somebody before. He probably gets tons of money. He's probably seen all kinds of denominations of money. He looks like, he might be the type. If I was moved, many people, the world is full of loving people. I'm sure he was moved. Many people have been moved to give him help and to give him to give him money, to give him food, to give him assistance. But how many times has he gotten a crystal? How many times was he given something beautiful just for the sake of its own beauty? Something that has almost no monetary value or usefulness in his life except for the fact that it's beautiful. Except for the fact that it can put a smile on your face, For $2 or $3, that reaction he got, and maybe that was the more valuable gift that he got. Maybe it made his day. Maybe it made his week. Maybe that quartz crystal, that rose quartz crystal gave him smile after smile after smile. Who knows? All I know is that was unexpected. And his value system was different from mine. And it really blew me away. And thinking about this, thinking about this recently, because this happened years ago, but it came to my mind and I was thinking about this and I had another epiphany. And I realized, when was the last time I had that big of a reaction of just uninhibited joy at something? When was the last time I said, wow, that's beautiful, with such wonderment and such joy and such just wild bliss? When was I blissed out like that for something small, for anything, for even something big? Like when did I have last have that big wow sort of reaction? And it made me think, wow, it's been a while. It's been a while. And it made me think that, when your heart is closed, when you close yourself off to, to the world because you don't want to feel pain, because you don't want to feel hardship, when you're like, I don't want to feel, I want to just protect myself. When you wall up your heart and protect it from the painful feelings, you protect it from the good feelings as well. Closing your heart means closing your heart. End of story. That's what happens when you close your heart. When you can't feel the painful things, you can't feel those joyful things as well. Obviously, this man felt very deeply his situation because he had the heart space to have this amazing reaction of pure joy at a $2 or $3 rose quartz pocket crystal. Oh my gosh. It was amazing. He taught me a lesson. Even now, years later, he's like one of my gurus. He's like teaching me that open-heartedness is something you have to practice all the time, because you never know when someone's going to give you something where you have to be ready to feel it, to experience it, to appreciate it. It's just, it really made me think. And so my question to you is, when was the last time you had this kind of like, wow, reaction? This wow, blissed out, like, oh my gosh, so beautiful. How open is your heart to the little things in everyday life? How open are you to these, unexpected gifts in everyday life? I had been valuing, and still, I think the reason I'm thinking of this is because I need to revalue my life, because money and making, getting by and not feeling like worried that you're not gonna pay your bills or whatever. Everybody's got money issues. I think relationships fail many times based on either kids or money or both. Or some sort of like major thing like that. It's not the little things that set you off course. It's big things. And money is one of the biggest things in our world. It's one of the biggest energies that runs the world. This fear of not enough and this valuation that we give to everything in our world. And I had valued everything based on money. And we can't have that value system. I can't have that value system. I don't want to value my every moment based on how much money, is this worth or that worth, and how much money is a smile worth, basically. How much money is that wow worth to you? Like that blissed out wow. How much money would someone have to spend for you on a gift to you for you to have the wow moment? There is no answer to that. There can't be, because it can't be valued that way. Our lives need to be valued another way, which brings us to this place of wow, blissed out, wonderment, open-hearted space. This brings us to this place of being like ready to be touched, ready to be moved into happiness and gratitude at the slightest thing, So my question for you and for me, I've been thinking about this. How open is your heart? How much are you valuing things in your life? Did you have a moment like that today where you were like, wow, that's beautiful? Because there are things like that every day. A sunset, a fog over the water. That's what I saw this morning. And I'm just now realizing, oh my gosh, I saw a gorgeous view of one of the most beautiful lakes. I live near a lake, and it's a gorgeous lake. And there was a nice rainy sort of fog out on the water. And I was just like, I was thinking that's beautiful. But I'm like, I should have pulled over and gone like, wow. Because it was there for me. These gifts are there for all of us every day. Open your heart. Open the treasure trove. Pull back the doors of the treasure trove of your life and start going, wow, and everything. And so my prayer for you and my prayer for me, my prayer for all of us is that, first of all, my prayer is that man, wherever he is, bless him up and down and left and right. Bless that man. Bless that man for teaching me and teaching us and being a guru for us to help us understand value and what we need to value. And my prayer for all of us is that our hearts, no matter what level you're at as far as open-heartedness, let your heart be opened even more right now. Let your heart be opened even more so that you can have that wow moment every moment, so that can happen every day for you, as often as you have the capacity for it. Amen, amen, amen. Blessings to all of you. I love you, and I'll see you next time. Bye.